We're getting closer to the catch. SpaceX is intensifying tests on the catching system with B-14.1 and the Mechazilla Arm in preparation for Flight 5's catching mission. Meanwhile, nearby, the crane system has undergone testing and is set for integration into the new full-stack tower process. The highlight of the day, NASA has assigned SpaceX the critical mission of deorbiting the ISS. On June 21st, B-14.1 was moved from the Massey Test Site to the launch pad. The next morning, it was lifted by crane to the Orbital Launch Mount. This step allowed SpaceX to address two issues. After B-14.1 was placed on the OLM, it could be connected to OLM hardware, like Booster Quick Disconnect, or the QD, to test the stiffness of the fuel tank under pressure. This is crucial for ensuring the hardware holds up when caught by the Chopstick. Speaking of Chopstick, it's been busy since B-14.1 was lifted to the OLM. On June 25th, the Chopstick performed numerous operations, including raising, lowering, rotating, closing, opening, and raising landing rails using either one arm or both. By the end of the afternoon, the Chopstick had grabbed B-14.1 and continued these operations. On the 26th, the Chopstick maintained its relentless pace, continually closing, opening, and repeating these actions. SpaceX is highly focused on Chopstick's capabilities. Previously, simulations of the Starship catching process showed everything running smoothly. However, in reality, Chopstick had yet to achieve this level of performance. Its significant mass and the need for high-speed movement combined with catching stages while their engines are still active make it prone to swaying and potential failures in the catching process. To address this, continuous testing is essential to refine Chopstick's speed and accuracy. The testing process has already yielded positive results, with Chopstick's opening and closing speed clocking in at about 5 seconds. Using B-14.1, SpaceX can safely conduct these operations without the risk associated with a complete booster. But I'm eagerly awaiting SpaceX to use a crane to lift B-14.1 and drop it down to be caught by the Chopstick. This test will reveal the true effectiveness or issues of the method, allowing for necessary adjustments. SpaceX has another scheduled road closure on June 27th from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. to proceed with this. Hopefully, we'll see this test soon. If you're excited too, comment yes in the comment section, and don't forget to like the video, share it, and subscribe to the channel in order to support our team and stay updated on SpaceX's progress. Leaving the launch pad, we move over to the OLIT-2. Where preparations for the second launch tower construction are underway. Recently, the crane designated for stacking the launch tower CC8800-1, or T-Rex, has undergone numerous tests. On June 24th, with the assistance of another crane, it underwent a twisted test. On the 25th, it was pulled and lifted. Watching this test, I felt like I was witnessing an awakened monster with its vibrant orange paint making it even more striking. So impressive. It was then erected and kept upright until June 26th when it was taken down. Thus, the equipment supporting the launch tower stack is ready. The tower foundation is nearly complete, and now we await the arrival of the tower segments for stacking. Currently, SpaceX has 7 segments at the Sanchez site. With the crane's system's recent progress, these segments may be transported soon. The other 2 segments and Chopstick appear to have gone to Texas. SpaceX has scheduled road closures from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. on June 26th, the 27th, and the 28th to transport the tower module from the port of Brownsville to the Sanchez lot next to Remedios Road. We're really close to having all the segments gathered at Starbase. SpaceX might be waiting for these 2 segments to arrive before moving them all at once to the launch site for stacking. That's right, people. The 2 Towers chapter is almost here. But wait, there's more. More good news, that is, and they keep coming. SpaceX has received another honor from NASA related to the ISS. NASA awarded SpaceX an $843 million contract to build the United States Deorbit Vehicle, or USDV. This vehicle will be used to deorbit the International Space Station. If you weren't excited before, then you should be now. And to show it, remember, like the video, share it, and subscribe to the channel to stay updated and show your support to the team. Ken Bowersox, NASA's Associate Administrator for Space Operations, stated, "Selecting a U.S. deorbit vehicle for the International Space Station will help NASA and its international partners ensure a safe and responsible transition in low Earth orbit at the end of station operation." Currently, NASA has not disclosed any details or illustrations of SpaceX's USDV design. However, many expect it to be based on the Dragon vehicle, which currently supports the ISS with goods and crew transportation. Previously, NASA mentioned it'll be a new spacecraft design or a modification of an existing spacecraft that must function on its first flight and have sufficient redundancy and anomaly recovery capability to ensure a successful deorbit burn. Initially, NASA estimated the contract value to be over $1 billion. However, thanks to SpaceX's reliable and affordable reusable vehicles, the cost was reduced to $843 million. This demonstrates SpaceX's critical role in the U.S. aerospace industry and its superiority over competitors. Regarding the deorbit plan, NASA has published a detailed analysis summary. Firstly, they outlined the why of deorbiting and how it's necessary, meanwhile highlighting the potential of each component. The most notable part of the plan is the methods that can be used. NASA emphasized the primary method. NASA has concluded that deorbiting the International Space Station using a US-developed deorbit vehicle with a final target in a remote part of the ocean is the best option for the station's end of life. After 30 years of operation, the ISS will be returning home. With this method, SpaceX's USDV could push or pull the ISS out of orbit, ensuring a re-entry and splashdown in the ocean. Even before it happens, I can already imagine how impressive that scene will be, a beautiful ending for the largest human-made structure in space. Of course, to arrive at this conclusion, NASA considered and evaluated many other backup solutions. Their plan outlines 8 additional methods, each with detailed explanations: uncontrolled re-entry, disassemble and return to Earth, disassemble and repurpose in low Earth orbit, disassemble and deorbit in smaller pieces, boost to a higher orbit, decomposition or fragmentation of the space station while in space, transition the space station to a commercial operator, or continue International Space Station operations beyond 2030. Regardless of the method chosen, the role of SpaceX and its USDV will be crucial. However, I hope the main method will be applied. How about you? Which method do you think is the best? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. But of course, the deorbit plan still has many challenges, including considering moves from Russia, which has the majority of modules on the ISS. Given the current relationship, it's hard to predict what decisions Putin will make. Nevertheless, let's pay tribute to the ISS for its many contributions to the aerospace industry. The end will mark the beginning of a new era. New space stations with advanced technologies will help humans explore space more effectively. However, the ISS will always remain a monumental symbol in the history of space exploration. Thank you so much, ISS. What on earth are they up to? Blue Origin, often touted as SpaceX's competitor, but yet to send any vehicles into orbit, has recently taken aggressive actions to hinder Starship's plans in Florida and its subsequent activities. Last week, the FAA officially released the Draft Environmental Impact Statement, or EIS, outlining the future operations of Starship at LC-39A, Florida. This EIS presents several intriguing roadmaps, promising a bright future for the aerospace industry. However, not everyone is in favor of these plans, particularly SpaceX's competitors. Following the publication of the draft EIS, the FAA and SpaceX will spend 45 days collecting public comments on the document. Immediately after its release, Jeff Bezos' company Blue Origin submitted a scoping commentary outlining its objections. They specifically highlighted the proposed action to prepare an EIS evaluating the potential environmental impacts of issuing a commercial launch vehicle operator license to SpaceX for the Starship Super Heavy Launch Vehicle at Launch Complex 39A or LC-39A at Kennedy Space Center, KSC, Florida. The scoping commentary from Blue Origin highlights critical infrastructure concerns, focusing on SLC-36, LC-12, and LC-1 to LC-4. They also detail various systems and human resources involved. Blue Origin asserts that the EIS fails to ensure protection for corporate and personal property, employee and company safety, government agency property, access to airspace, and necessary maritime resources. They raise concerns about environmental impacts from Starship's launches, including ground systems, transportation, in-flight effects, and potential unusual incidents. Furthermore, Blue Origin emphasizes Starship Super Heavy operations are anticipated to have a significantly larger environmental footprint than any other launch system currently active at KSC or CCSFS. With its capacity of up to 5,200 metric tons of liquid methane, Starship Super Heavy may require safety buffers that could encroach upon operational areas of other companies, government facilities, and public spaces. While specific safety margin data hasn't been disclosed, given the expected launch frequency and vehicle scale, the impact of Starship Super Heavy operations at KSC could surpass that of operations at Starbase. To address these concerns, Blue Origin has proposed several measures to the FAA that directly impact Starship's operations. Key proposals from Blue Origin include limiting the launch and landing rates of Starship Super Heavy and related activities to mitigate the impacts identified by Blue Origin, constructing additional infrastructure at the Florida Launch Complex for Starship to accommodate more entities and prevent conflicts with other organizations and systems, investing in enhancing the entire launch complex infrastructure, including reinforcing existing facilities and constructing new ones to redirect traffic away from the proposed action area, restricting Starship Super Heavy's operational hours to minimize conflicts with other companies, implementing measures to mitigate potential impacts of Starship Super Heavy operations that may necessitate evacuations or interruptions in the operations of other companies, requiring SpaceX or the government to compensate third parties for direct losses or long-term impacts on their operations caused by Starship Super Heavy activities, and last but not least, implementing independent mandatory penalties for SpaceX if activities are conducted outside the EIS framework or violate other regulations. Presented numerous scenarios for the FAA's consideration, all aimed at preventing or restricting Starship's operations in Florida. While I acknowledge the importance of safety concerns for people, property, and the environment, I believe Blue Origin is leveraging these factors unfairly to impede Starship's activities before they even commence. It appears that Blue Origin's actions are driven by personal interests, particularly the operation of their orbital rocket, New Glenn. It's evident that the presence of Starship at the Florida Launch Complex would overshadow New Glenn and potentially diminish public and investor interest in their endeavors. Therefore, Blue Origin's proposals to limit Starship's flight times and frequencies seem motivated by these competitive pressures. In conclusion, while safety and environmental considerations are valid, it's crucial to ensure fair competition and foster innovation in the aerospace industry. Looking ahead, Blue Origin's actions appear to contradict the goals of the aerospace industry. The potential relocation of Starship to Florida aims to support critical future missions, including Artemis 3 in September of 2026, which aims to return humans to the moon. With China aggressively advancing in the lunar race, increasing Starship's appearance, launch, and testing frequency is crucial for SpaceX, NASA, and other agencies to fully develop systems and preparations for this pivotal mission. However, Blue Origin seeks to impose limitations on these activities. What are your thoughts on Blue Origin's stance? Share your opinions in the comments down below, and don't forget to like the video, share it, and subscribe to our channel for more updates on this pressing issue. Next, SpaceX and Blue Origin. It was a fierce battle, but not in the way you might think. While SpaceX outpaces Jeff Bezos' company in the space race, the real clash is unfolding in the legal arena, a field where Blue Origin has made quite a name for itself. Previously, we discussed Blue Origin's scoping commentary, which raised numerous issues with the draft EIS, or Environmental Impact Statement, and proposed significant limitations on future Starship operations. In response, SpaceX founder Elon Musk has also been vocal, offering his own set of reactions and counter-arguments. Stay tuned to see how this legal showdown evolves and what it means for the future of space exploration. Musk didn't hold back, posting a succinct tweet, "Sue Origin," a playful jab at Blue Origin's tendency to resort to legal action. He elaborated further, explaining, in past years, Blue Origin also sued to stop SpaceX from using what is now our primary launch pad at 39A, and tried to patent landing a rocket on a ship, even though that idea had been around for 70 years. Musk concluded that Blue Origin's commentary is an obviously disingenuous response. Not cool of them to try, for the third time, to impede SpaceX's progress by lawfare. Get it? Because it's warfare, but by law. Blue Origin's actions clearly aim to slow SpaceX's advancements, making it easier for them to catch up. A fantastic commenter on our channel summed it up perfectly. Winners do, losers sue. Do you agree with this sentiment? Please leave a heart icon in the comment section below if you do. Indeed, SpaceX needs to continue pushing forward to reach new milestones and solidify their role in the aerospace industry. Why, just yesterday, they took another significant step to prove that point. Following the successes of Falcon 9 and Starship, another powerhouse in SpaceX's orbital fleet, Falcon Heavy has reawakened after a half-year of dormancy. At 5:26 EDT on June 26th, Falcon Heavy lifted off from the LC-39A launch pad at Kennedy Space Center, carrying the GOES-U weather satellite into geostationary orbit. The launch happened just 10 minutes after the directors deemed the weather favorable. After leaving the launch pad, Falcon Heavy soared into space. At around T plus 2 minutes 30 seconds, the two side boosters B-1072 and 1086 separated from the rocket to return. At around T plus 8 minutes 8 seconds and T plus 8 minutes 11 seconds, the two boosters touched down on landing zone 1 and 2 respectively, marking a new landing milestone. Musk then tweeted, "Falcon Heavy side boosters land in Cape Canaveral, Florida." Meanwhile, core booster B-1087 continued on its way to the targeted geostationary transfer orbit, where it performed an additional burn to reach its final orbit. By approximately T plus 4 hours, 30 minutes, and 11 seconds, the GOES-U satellite was deployed and became operational. After this was completed, SpaceX tweeted, "Falcon Heavy's 10th mission launches NOAA's GOES-U weather satellite to a geostationary orbit, confirming that the mission was a success." Musk added, "New weather satellite delivered." In terms of payload, GOES-U is the fourth and final satellite in the Geostationary Operational Environmental Satellite, or GOES, R series of satellites built by Lockheed Martin for the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. It plays an extremely important role in weather forecasting in the US and surrounding areas. Mentioning this, Ken Graham, director of the National Weather Service, said, "The GOES-R series of satellites, it's been a game changer for us. Since the first launch of the series in 2016, the latest series of GOES has enabled new and improved forecasts, warnings, and services to help save lives and protect property." Pam Sullivan, director of the GOES-R program at NOAA, added, "The main thing I hear from forecasters is that they have more confidence in a forecast." This once again shows how important this mission is, thereby demonstrating the importance of the Falcon Heavy. In fact, GOES-U is the only satellite in the GOES-R series to be launched by Falcon Heavy, while previous satellites were launched by ULA's Atlas V. This, again, is SpaceX's victory over its competitors. In 2021, NASA awarded a $152.5 million contract to SpaceX to launch this mission after ULA could not continue due to a lack of Atlas V hardware for this mission. In fact, the selection of the GOES-U launcher is an open competition. Rex Engelhardt, GOES-U mission manager for NASA's Launch Services program, shared, "The different rocket companies join and sign up with the contract and give us not to exceed prices. When we're trying to procure a rocket for particular missions, we do a mini competition where we give them an opportunity to lower those prices, come down off the not to exceed, and bid to the mission-specific requirements. In this case, Falcon Heavy won that." In addition, Falcon Heavy is considered the best choice for this mission from a technical perspective. Juliana Scheiman, director of NASA's science missions at SpaceX, once commented that Falcon Heavy's advantage is its additional performance, or delta V, which stands for change in velocity, which helps bring the satellite to its geostationary orbit. The GOES-U mission requirement is no higher than 987 meters per second. Meanwhile, Falcon Heavy can put GOES-U into a transition orbit with a delta V of 566 meters per second, meaning it will help the spacecraft save more fuel to fly to the planned location. This will help prolong the operating life of GOES-U. Sullivan said GOES-U is designed to operate for 15 years, but with Falcon Heavy's capabilities, they expect the satellite will have enough fuel for 20 years of operation. Back to Falcon Heavy's current progress, GOES-U is a mission that marks an important milestone for Falcon Heavy. This is the 10th mission of this rocket so far, since its first launch in 2018. Although not as many launches as Falcon 9, all 10 missions of Falcon Heavy are very impressive. For me, I still love the launch mission of the Tesla Roadster and Starman. What about you? Which mission do you like most? Please, let me know in the comment section down below. The GOES-U mission also marks the awakening of Falcon Heavy after half a year of hibernation. While its first half of this year hasn't been as notable as its two siblings, Falcon 9 and Starship, the GOES-U mission was originally scheduled for April, but faced a bit of a leak problem with core booster B1087. Thanks to the great effort from the SpaceX team, everything is back to normal. To date, 2023 is considered the most explosive year for Falcon Heavy with 5 launches. That makes expectations for 2024 even greater, but maybe this year the number of Falcon Heavy launches will not be as high as last year. However, the upcoming missions are all very impressive. After awakening with the GOES-U mission, Falcon Heavy will aim for 2 other important missions around the end of the year. The first mission is Europa Clipper, around October, used to launch a spacecraft to survey Jupiter's moon Europa. The second mission is Griffin, around November, to launch NASA and Astrobotics' Viper lunar lander. This mission is also expected to be the first time SpaceX will successfully land 3 boosters, marking a further development in their reuse record. It can be said that SpaceX is developing too comprehensively. All of their systems operate smoothly and deserve to be ranked among the highest positions in the rocket industry. Even with just one of these rockets, SpaceX can still lead the current space race. Therefore, please like the video, share it, and subscribe to our channel to continue following and supporting SpaceX. Now, let's mosey on over to another update related to NASA's Spacesuit system. As NASA grapples with more spacesuit problems on the International Space Station, the company it selected to develop replacement suits has announced it is pulling back from that effort. That company is Collins Aerospace, one of 2 companies, along with Axiom Space, that NASA awarded a contract to design spacesuits 2 years ago. To create spacesuits 2 years ago, NASA stated no further work will be performed on the task orders. This action was agreed upon after Collins recognized its development timeline would not support the space station's schedule and NASA's mission objectives. While Axiom spacesuits have appeared and are used by NASA on the ISS, and spacesuits for the Artemis mission have also been tested, Collins Aerospace's progress has been too slow. This is unfortunate because NASA recently faced continuous problems with spacesuits, causing 2 spacewalk missions to be postponed. This highlights the consequences of NASA's contractor selection. However, this setback gives NASA the opportunity to consider other options. I believe they should give SpaceX's EVA suit a chance, which recently showcased many outstanding features. Let's see how NASA will decide to provide astronauts with the best gear for more effective space exploration in the future. We're shifting our focus to the ISS and the recent delay of the spacewalk mission. NASA canceled a scheduled spacewalk at the International Space Station today, which at the time of this recording was the 24th of June, due to a coolant leak in the spacesuit hatch just before astronauts were set to exit. At 8:52 a.m. EDT, Mission Control instructed NASA astronauts Tracy Caldwell Dyson and Mike Barrett to halt their planned 6.5-hour spacewalk outside the International Space Station, or the ISS. By 8:46 a.m., they had already switched to internal power in their suits, technically initiating the spacewalk. The astronauts officially concluded the spacewalk by opening the ISS hatch at 9:51 a.m. EDT. During the NASA television livestream broadcast, the astronauts reported encountering literally water everywhere as they transitioned their suits to internal power for the extravehicular activity. Dyson noted that the leak appeared to originate from a servicing and cooling umbilical, or SCU on her spacesuit. Despite the seriousness of the situation, the astronauts were not in immediate danger due to the leak. NASA issued a brief official statement following the cancellation and indicated that further details would be provided on the agency's ISS blog. Regarding the incident, Dyson described,
"I could see the ice crystals were flowing out there, and then just like a snow cone machine, there was ice forming at that port on the SCU."
The SCU is designed to connect to the ISS airlock as astronauts prepare for the final stages of disconnecting for the EVA. They were still in the hatch with the external door open when the leak occurred, closing it shortly after terminating the spacewalk. Astronaut Butch Wilmore remarked,
"It was pretty impressive. It was watching a snowstorm."
This marks the second postponement of this particular spacewalk, following a June 13th attempt with a different astronaut group, Matt Dominic and Tracy Dyson, delayed due to a spacesuit discomfort issue with Matt Dominic. A July 2nd spacewalk is scheduled, but its status remains uncertain under these circumstances. The purpose of the spacewalk was to retrieve faulty communications equipment, known as a radio frequency group, and to swab the ISS exterior to collect evidence of microorganisms in extreme microgravity environments. This recent EVA was intended to be the first of two upcoming spacewalks focused on ongoing scientific research and maintenance of the orbital laboratory. Initially, NASA planned 3 spacewalks, but after the postponement on June 13th, they adjusted to 2. I don't wish to assign blame, but I find it puzzling why ISS issues have become more frequent since Starliner's arrival at the station. Could there be a spiritual factor at play here? Regardless, I hope these challenges will soon be resolved and operations return to normal. Next up, let's discuss Firefly and their return after several months since last year's incident. Firefly announced late on June 21st that it is gearing up for an Alpha rocket launch scheduled for June 27th at midnight Eastern Time, 9 p.m. Pacific on June 26th, within a half-hour window. Dubbed the Noise of Summer mission, it aims to deploy 8 NASA-sponsored small sats into low Earth orbit under a NASA Venture-class Launch Services Demo 2 contract. This launch will mark the 5th mission of the Alpha rocket and is anticipated to achieve full success, becoming its second fully successful mission. This launch will be Alpha's first mission since a December 2023 flight carrying a Lockheed Martin technology demonstration payload. During that mission, the rocket's upper stage failed to relight, resulting in the satellite being stranded in a low perigee orbit. The spacecraft re-entered within several weeks, but Lockheed Martin stated it accomplished its mission objectives within the accelerated timeframe despite the setback. Firefly attributed the incident to a software problem. To date, Firefly has completed 1 successful mission, experienced 1 failure, and encountered 2 partial failures. While not disastrous, this track record may undermine confidence among future customers if not improved. Currently, Firefly is setting ambitious goals for the upcoming launch. The company plans up to 4 Alpha launches this year and 6 in 2025, aiming for monthly launches by 2026. It remains to be seen if they can successfully rebound from past setbacks. Turning our gaze towards the US's rival in the East, it's impressive to see China's recent achievement with the Chang'e 6 mission. On the morning of May 25th, the Chang'e 6 return capsule successfully re-entered Earth's atmosphere, carrying around 2 kilos of lunar material collected from the Apollo crater on the far side of the moon. The capsule separated from the mission service module about 5,000 kilometers away from Earth and completed its descent, landing in the grasslands of the Xizhi Wang Banner, Inner Mongolia, at around 2:07 a.m. ETC, June 25th. This mission marks a significant milestone, providing unique lunar material that scientists believe will offer valuable insights into the moon's evolution. Chinese experts have expressed pride in this achievement, highlighting its importance for global scientific research and celebrating it as a significant event for humanity. Chang'e 6 represents China's ambitious lunar exploration program, building upon the successes of Chang'e 4 and Chang'e 5 missions. Looking ahead, China plans to continue with Chang'e 7 and 8 missions in 2026 and 2028, respectively, aiming towards establishing an International Lunar Research Station, or ILRS for short, by 2030 and sending astronauts to the moon in the same timeframe. These efforts underscore China's significant strides in lunar exploration and their ambitions to compete globally in space exploration. In this context, SpaceX stands out as a formidable competitor, possibly the only entity capable of challenging China's advancements. Supporting SpaceX and fostering its capabilities could play a crucial role in maintaining America's competitive edge in the global space race. It'll be interesting to see how SpaceX responds to these developments and continues to innovate in space exploration. Well, folks, that's about it for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in, and as always, this has been Kevin from Great SpaceX. Until next time, keep looking up.